Hi, welcome in everyone.
I can't believe it's May. I feel like every month I'm like, I can't believe it's this month. I can't believe it's that month. And thank you for joining us as we're heading into Memorial Day weekend. So I know some people were heading out early, but we're here. And we're excited to talk to you about basic pages and our just quick guide to some of the basics for our website platform. All right. Um, Welcome everyone. We're seeing some new names pop in. So if this is your first time coming to one of our webinars, welcome. Also want to let you know that this is Zoom webinar. So if you've met with your account manager, you've used the Zoom meeting before, but Zoom webinar runs a little different. We don't use chat, we use Q&A. So I'd like you to you might need to move your mouse around. You should see a Q&A on the bar that comes with Zoom. If you'd click that and open it, I highly recommend it. This is how we're going to communicate with you guys. You're all muted. You're all like, we're not going to hear you. We're not going to see you. So hopefully you're paying attention. But the Q&A box is how we communicate. So we're going to ask you to use that to ask your questions. We'll also answer questions through there. So yeah. You want to flip that
Wonderful.
page?
Yeah, let's get started.
So on the webinar today, I'm Allison James. We got Jordan. She's doing the bulk of the presenting today. And Christina and Chrissy, account managers with us, and we'll all be helping answer the questions and popping in our comments as we go through the webinar. All right. So we have a know your audience. If you've been on our webinars before, we do this like every webinar. A lot of times we have poll questions. We're doing this one a little different. We have some did you knows. So we're going to have some things that maybe you don't know that you really need to know. So we'll do those. And then we're really going to spend the bulk of the time going through creation of content, how that works, ways to do it, things to know, and then your more Q&As at the end. So go ahead, Jordan. So for our Know Your Audience this time, we do want you to use the Q&A box, and we're asking you to go ahead and write any questions that you have. Like you maybe came to this webinar going, I'm really wanting to know how to insert a picture, hyperlink something, whatever it might be. Um, if you have some real needs because you're new and you're learning, or maybe you're just not sure how to do something, if you would go ahead and use that Q&A box and just type in your question, it'll pop into ours, and we'll make sure they all get answered during the course of this webinar. So yeah.
Yeah. And just to add to that, you can pop a question in there at any time. We'll go through our demo first of creating the page and then the Q&A. So if you think of something, a few minutes from now, please get it in that Q&A.
And just as a comment, not all of you are on the same platforms. Some of you are on an older version, some are on newer versions. So a few things might be a little different. We'll try and point those out as we go. Go ahead, Jordan. It's fine. So our did you knows, did you know that your website, if you do your website URL.org, most of you are .orgs, / the word headings, that you will find a page with your style guide. So we're going to be talking about that today. So if you're looking at your site, you might want to check it out. You should have one. If you don't have one, let us know. Some tips. We're going to go over these a couple times, but if you don't know this one, you're going to love this. This is the best tip ever, and it works in every platform. When you're copying content, there is a copy, which is Control C, works on everyone's computer. You highlight your words, you do Control C, and it goes to a clipboard and it's copied. And then most of us are used to going to where we want to go and pasting it by using Control V. I'm going to tell you, definitely with your website, and actually works with Word documents or anything, instead of Control V, when you're pasting, you want to do Control Shift and the V. it will remove the formatting of whatever document you're pulling from. So if that document's Times New Roman, but your website is branded with Palaquin, then you want it to be Palaquin. That's your brand. So every website has a branded font. If you copy over something that's Times New Roman, it'll come in as Times New Roman unless you clear the code. So that Control Shift and V is going to clear the code. And where this comes in really handy, folks, is again, it works in every platform. You've worked on a letter and you've used ChatGPT to help you write it, and you copy it from ChatGPT and you're going to drop it into your Word document or your email. You're going to want to Control Shift V it so that it comes in your default settings. So you're going to find it handy in a lot of ways. I'm going to tell you another one that's not listed there that also uses the Shift key that's going to come in handy on your website. And this has to do with HTML. They do this kind of stuff all the time. Anyway, when you hit enter in the website, it will always double space. But if you hold the shift key down and hit enter, you will get a single space. And that works in every platform also. So if you've ever done an email and you hit enter and it's double spacing, you're like, why is it double spacing? Hold your shift key down and hit enter, and you'll get a single space. So shift is a little bit of a magical key that is very helpful.
Mhm.
Um, the next one is as you're working on your site and you're looking at your menu, you're going to find menu in a couple of different places, and Jordan's going to go over this. But I really want to stress to everyone the way to add something to your menu is from the page itself. There is a spot when you're creating pages or events or any of those on the right-hand side for your menu. You check the box, and that's the best way to add it to your menu. It keeps it connected to the page. It's so we'll show that. And then the last did you know is did you know that if it's not on the menu, but it's still published in your content folder, it's still public. So just because something doesn't show on your menu does not mean that it can't be found in a Google search unless it's been unpublished or deleted. So we get calls all the time. They're like, how come they're finding this? And we say, it's still published. So we're going to go through that because that's a really important piece. A lot of our customers have been with us 10 plus years, and you haven't been with us maybe 10 plus years, but the content has been with us 10 plus years. So some of it's really old, and you might want to find out what's published from 2017 that you don't want, or all those COVID pages. Maybe you don't want them published anymore. So it is going to be important to know the difference between published and unpublished, or delete things that are just old. So those are my did you knows. Some of it might be new, some of it might be just a reminder for you, but yeah, we like to share those ideas.
Yeah.
Comments, Jordan?
No, those were good. And yeah, we'll touch on all of them as we get into this demo next. But yeah, all great reminders if you had heard them before but needed that refresher, and great new information for those of you that are new to managing your websites. All right, so we're going to move into our basic page creation. Because this is more of a basics webinar, we're kind of stepping back fully. We're going to go and treat it like a basics 101. We're going to log into the website together and then point out a couple of things you need to know. Let me switch it over here and we'll go full screen. So on your websites, most everybody has a login link, usually in the footer somewhere. If you go down to the very bottom of your website, you may see a link in one of your footer menus that says login. If you click that login link, it will bring you to the login page. Occasionally, there are some login links up in the header area of your site. Maybe yours is up there. And then if you have decided that you don't want a login link either in the header or the footer, the back way to always get to your login page is to type in user at the end of your URL. This will take you right here to your login page no matter what. So that's always kind of the shortcut key, but most likely you do have a login link in the footer area. You'll log into the website with your username. And I will just note, since this is more of a beginning webinar, this is not your email address. Sometimes we always log in with our email address here. Drupal, when it sees an email address in this username field, it thinks that you're trying to reset your password and you'll get kind of caught in a loop sometimes. So if you're not sure what your username is, you could reach out to your account manager. They can get you that information or get you a user login created to the site if you need that. But this usually is not your email address. So I just wanted to point that out. All right. Once you log into the site, you'll see up toward the top of the website this black bar and then a white bar underneath. And this is what we always refer to as your admin menu. If you watch some of our other kind of recorded training videos and we're talking about your admin bar or your admin menu, this is what we're referring to up top here. We also mentioned that every website, or most every website, should have that headings page. So if you're up at your URL and you go to /headings, you should find a page like this. And we refer to this as headings. We also call it your style guide, if you've heard us reference it like that as well. But it will show you all of the headings and the styling of your website. And these are great because they are global throughout your website. So every time you add a heading to your page content, it will always be this size and it will always be red. Same with your heading 3, heading 4. We'll usually add, some formatting so you can see what bold text is going to look like on your website, what your hyperlinks will look like, bullets, numbers, and then we've added, again, some components just so you can start to play around with page components once you're ready for that. But this is always the first page that you should be reviewing when you come to your website, because these things, while they are universal on the site, they can be changed. If you are not a fan of having a red H2, we can change this to a blue color so that every time you add it, it's always blue and you're not manually changing that. For website best practices, kind of SEO best practices, it's always good to have at least one heading 1 on a page. And this is always actually your page title. This is always a heading 1. So most likely you're starting with a heading 2 within the content of your pages. So if you need this to be a different color, a different size, you can tell us and we'll be able to make those changes for you so that no matter what, you're keeping consistent styling throughout the website. And that goes not only for the headings, but for your basic font too. If you just want the font size bumped up, we can universally bump it up so that the normal default font is a little bit bigger or maybe a little smaller. We can change the color of your hyperlinks too, and any of the 6 heading colors. So take a look at this page, make sure you like how those are set, and if not, reach out to your account manager and we can get those adjusted. The next area I wanted to point out when you first come to the site is probably the most important or the most used menu within your admin menu or admin bar, and it is this content menu. If you click on the word content, this will bring you to your content management filter, and this shows you every single piece of content that you have on your site. As you get more and more content, you will start to see pages and pages of content down here at the bottom. It will show you everything that is published and unpublished on your website, which means it can get very big and sometimes overwhelming to sort through as you're trying to find maybe a specific page. What we always recommend is to make life a little easier for you. Use the filters up here toward the top to help narrow your search down. You can search by title. So if you had maybe every year you do the same event, so it's got a very similar title, but you can't quite find the one you're looking for, you can always keyword search with a word, even just a couple of letters, it will keyword search and it will pull any content related to that title search down below, no matter what content type it is. So you can see if it was an event page or maybe it was a basic page. So that's a good way to kind of filter through content. The other way is to filter by the content type. There are a few different content types on everyone's site. Usually there's basic pages, you have your front page rotor images, you have event content types on the site. You can actually filter by those specifically. So if you just want to see what news articles you have on the site, you can filter by news and then get a list of all of the news articles you have. If you have a very robust news section or a big events section, you can also add the published status. So if you want to see any of maybe your older news articles that are unpublished, you can filter by the published status as well. Or maybe you just want to see any unpublished content on your site, you can filter this way too. This is our demo site. I don't think we have any unpublished. So the other thing I will point out, since we talked about unpublishing content, I'll mention it here as well. If you are reviewing your basic pages, let's say you notice you have a few that need to be unpublished, you know they're old, you can bulk unpublish by selecting the pages. And in the action drop down here, there is an option to unpublish the content. So you would hit unpublish content and then the apply, and it would go ahead and unpublish those items there for you. There's also a way to do it per page, and I'll make sure we point that out as well. But if you need to kind of bulk unpublished content, this is how to do it. Okay, let's see. Allison, any questions before I jump to creating the page?
No, no questions in the moment. So keep going. You're good.
Okay. Perfect. So for this webinar, I did set up a sample page. We are calling this a Paws and Hearts page. I helped ChatGPT help me get some just demo content on the page here to go through adding, why seniors need to have some help with pet food supplies if they are not able to leave the house. So it's a great article. We've styled it out. I've used my headings in here. We have our heading 2, our heading 3. I think I have a heading 4 in here as well as we start to work our way through the content on the page. So this is a great page you can come back to and take a look at how it's set up if you want to try and mimic it. But I want to show you at least how to get started with a simple version of this, creating a brand new page.
And while you're getting ready to set that up, I'll make a couple of comments. So
Yeah.
as Jordan was saying, that style guide or your headings page with heading 2 and heading 3, that's super important for search engines because they crawl the code side of your page. And when they see those tags, that's what it's called, like H1, they go, oh, that's the title. And they see H2 and they go, oh, that's important. So those are keywords. So every page should have an H2. And if you're going to H4 because you like the color better, let us change the color, like she said. Also, what we're hoping is that if you're consistent and you always do H2 and then normal text and then H3, it doesn't matter who's working on your site. If everyone follows the same guide, your site's going to flow and look good. So changing sizes and changing stuff is not recommended because then it's harder to be consistent. So yeah, so you gotta love that style guide. And if you don't, let us help you.
Okay, so to create a brand new page on your website, you will come up to that content menu in your admin bar, go down to add content, and then you just select the type of content you're looking to add. If it's a new event or a new news article, you can select those. For our webinar today, we are just going to select a basic page. This will bring up kind of a templated empty basic page that we can start to fill in. The only requirement is the title. So if you just need to get a couple pages created and get them saved and come back and do content, you can do that. You just need to add a title here. So let's call this one, we'll call it Hearts and Paws since I have, oh, sorry about that. Hearts and Paws, since my other one was called Paws and Hearts, we'll make a slightly different page. So we'll give it our title. We also have the ability to add a header image here. So let's add one. And actually, I think I've got one right here.
Quick comment on the header image because it's challenging sometimes. Make sure best images are JPEGs because they're smaller files. So if you're struggling with file size and it's a PNG, convert it to a JPEG.
Yes, yeah, great point. And I'll point out too, on every image field throughout your website, you should see underneath the recommended image size. And this is a recommended minimum image size. So for this header image, it's 2000 by 450. You can add ones that are a little bit bigger than that. Then you can play around, with the focal point, but that's the minimum size. The site will automatically take whatever image you upload here, even if it's smaller dimensions, and it will make it fit that size. And that's where we see sometimes you get some of images that look blurry because they're being stretched. Images can be tricky on the site, but try and pay attention to these image size guides, and that way you can kind of adjust images as you need to get them to look nice on the page.
Go ahead and explain the focal point because you can barely see it. It's right on our nose.
Oh, yes. So if you'll see in the image, there's a little cross or a plus sign in white on the image. So if I think this image is just slightly larger than 2000 by 450. But if I had an image that was bigger, maybe it's 2000 by 800 in the height, that means I have a little wiggle room to play around with what my focal point should be. So if I need to move, the focal point down, because I want the center of the image to be more toward the lower half of the page. I just have to click the image in that spot, and the little plus sign will move down, and the image will focus the focal point of that right where I've selected it. And this will only work if your image is larger than this space. If you have an image that's exactly this size or that's smaller, there's really not a lot of room to adjust that focal point because it's just the exact size.
Right.
And then depending on what theme you're in, I know some of our newer themes that we have things like a shadow overlay, opacity level. You can put in kind of a darkened, is it a black, kind of a black color block at a opacity level. So if you've got a bunch of white text in there, you can add some darkening to that image to make the text stand out. Or I think your United Way themes, we have some graphic overlays here that kind of match with the United Way branding. You can choose to add, kind of a side panel. We've got some of the chevrons and the different styles there. We'll do a solid blue for this one. And then what makes up your basic pages, every basic page will have a body area pre-built into the page. The body area will always have a toolbar. You've got all your formatting options here. You can add hyperlinks into this area. You can add images in. You can see all of your headings here as you are selecting them. There are options to manually change font color and manually up the size, but again, we really strongly suggest using the preset headings just to keep your pages consistent and styled throughout your site. There's also a source button here, so if you need to embed a video or you have any type of embed code, you can always, if you click the source button, you can paste your code in, click source again, and you'll see that embedded video show up. We've got kind of some horizontal lines and some quotes here. So you've got lots of formatting options built in within the site. Below the body area too, you will also see this section called components. And once you get more comfortable with creating basic pages, you're using your body area, you can dive into using those page components as well. When you click the add button, we've got a list of all of the available page components for you to use. I believe we have some training videos on every single one of these as well. So if you want to start to dive into page components, they're really great to break up pages to make them a little more user-friendly, user interactive. You can add some columns in there, the accordions that drop down. The only one I recommend maybe not using is this text and image tab. There's a pretty specific use case for that, and I don't see it get used that often. It's not my personal favorite simply because when you add the image in, you aren't able to adjust the image once it's been added. It kind of takes that flexibility away. I would much prefer to add it into just a simple text editor where I know I can then control the image. Underneath this section, there is also an SEO analyzer. You can put some focus keywords in here. This you do need to take with a little bit of a grain of salt. It will not pick up on content that is added within your page components. But if you want to start to target your focus keywords or add some in here, if your marketing team is giving you keywords to focus on, you can add those in here. You can also edit the snippet that you see. This is what shows up on Google when someone searches this page. And then this area below, again, this is only going to pick up on things you've added in the body area here and not the page components. So they might not be the most accurate, but it's still good information as you're starting to go through. You can go back and check your content and make sure you're following these rules. And then at the very bottom, this is that publish checkbox that we were talking about. So all pages by default are checked published. So as soon as you save this page, it is published on your site. If you're not ready for that to be published, you can uncheck that box and then save the page, and that will create it still, but it won't be accessible to anybody that's searching your site. All right, we've gone through quite a bit. Let's get some content here in the body area. I am going to go ahead and copy some text. I have another screen open, and I am going to use our Command or Control Shift V option here. I'm copying content from another source, so when I paste it in here, it will carry over some formatting that doesn't match my sites. So this is when I can Command Shift V and paste it in here. It stripped all of the code. It's just given me basic paragraph text. And now I can go in and style it as I need. So this is my heading. I can make that a heading 2. And this is my text. And maybe I want to bold a couple of things here. I don't think I need that. Oh,
Yeah.
that extra space. See.
So while we're discovering this, this happens a lot when if there's not a hard enter in between lines. So the regular enter key is what I'm referring to as a hard enter. The shift enter is a soft enter. And if when you copy and paste things over, it automatically uses that, resets it to that soft enter. So if you highlight something and it gives a bigger section than what you're expecting, you need to have a hard enter in between.
Mm-hmm.
No worries, Jordan.
And I'll show an example of that. So in between these two paragraphs, there is a whole space right here. It's a bigger space. There's a hard enter between these two lines. But if I wanted them to stack, closer together, like I have on my paragraph up above, like Allison mentioned, if you hit Shift and Enter, that will put it directly underneath that. Are we calling it a soft enter or right,
Yeah,
Allison?
a
For this
soft,
one?
I call it a soft enter. And a hard enter and a soft enter, I don't know. I might have made that up, but I've heard it before, I think. Got it
Yeah,
somewhere.
but it's helpful. I know a lot of the times we're putting things in there like addresses, and they just look address 1, address 2, we go city, state, zip code, and we have that hard enter. It just looks a little funky when it's so big. So having the option to hold that shift key down and get it right underneath, that makes it look, in my opinion, much nicer. So if you were trying to recreate that same look, you just hold that shift key down.
The magic shift key.
The magic shift key, yes. Okay, let's save this page. Let me get that address off of there and take a look at what this looks like. All right, I may need to adjust this image a little more.
Oh, I love her.
So we've got I see my header image up here at the top. I've got if you had options to put some overlays on top of your header image, we see our dark blue left-hand side. This is my page title. So this is that heading 1 automatically. And then as we scroll down, I can see my heading 2 here and then my page content. So I can continue to jump in and edit this.
And at this point, it's not on your menu anywhere.
Correct. This is not, it is a published page, but it is not on the menu. And what we mean by that is up here, we don't see this page. It doesn't automatically get added to the menu when you create a new page. You do have to add that manually yourself. There are technically two ways to add menu links. This is, I'll show the preferred way when you're adding pages of content. And then the other way is really recommended if you're linking to a website that isn't yours, or maybe directly to a document, a PDF document you want to link to. We'll show you how to add that as well. So if we click on the edit tab, we go back into this page to edit. Maybe I'm going to continue adding body area, but once I've got the page all set, on the right-hand side of the basic page, we have a few more options. It shows me the published status, the author, when it was last saved. It also has a revision log here. This is helpful if you have a team that's all working on similar content. You can leave actually notes. So maybe you can say, hey, I updated the address on this page, or I updated whatever you were trying to do. And when you save, it will leave that message in a revision log. I'll show you where that log here is in just a minute. And then you also have menu settings. This is the easiest way to add this page directly to your menu. And all you need to do is click the Provide a Menu Link button. It will pull in a menu link title. It does just copy whatever you have here as your page title, but it does not have to stay the same. You can manually change this. We can say, let's call this a senior drive. I can add to it. I can completely change it. There's a field for a description. I recommend keeping this exactly the same as the menu link title. It's not required, but it's great for accessibility. If someone's mouse is hovering over that menu link, it will pop up in a bubble, and that's what a text reader would read to someone. And then you have a drop down under parent link, and the default is going to be set at main menu. If you leave that at it as it is, this will become a parent link in your main menu, and I'll explain what that means here once we save. But you also have options to nest this menu link within another section of your menu. So if I wanted to put this under the, about section, or maybe I have an event section, I want to put this in here, but you can select that the parent menu link you'd like it to live underneath. And as we go down a little further on this page, I also want to point out this generate automatic URL alias section. This by default is checked, and it's going to pull and create an alias based off your page title. But this, again, is not set in stone. If you uncheck this button, you can adjust the URL alias here. Maybe you just want it to be hearts, or maybe you have an acronym here. If you have a very long page title, maybe you want to shorten it up. So you can always adjust that as you need.
And honestly, when you create a page, I think that's a really good idea to do, because here's what does happen. If someone comes and changes the page name and it's on generate automatic alias, the URL is going to change because it's just going to automatically keep pulling it from the page name, and people might have it bookmarked under something. So if you're creating a page, I think it's a great time to uncheck that and decide what you would like that page URL to be. You have control over it. Keep it short and simple so you can use it and promote it.
Exactly. So let's save this page here. We can see, I think if I scroll
Under about, right?
Yes, and my URL alias changed from hearts-pause to just hearts. And then under the About menu, I can see my menu link here. So if we had left it with the main menu selected in the dropdown, it would have made it one of these parent, just like About. It would have stuck it up here with these menu links, or we call them parent menu links. Sometimes we even refer to this as your first tier menu links, and then anything underneath like board of directors, hearts and paws, these are your second tier. And then you can have third tier menu items. It does, I think it differs a little bit depending on what theme template you're in, but we'll call these kind of parent and child menu links here. So this can always get adjusted if I want to make it a main menu or I want to make it a third tier. You can always go back to editing that page, and I can change where this is going to live. So if I want to stick it under that menu header 1 and make it that third tier, we can do that.
So as you get back into editing, we just had a question pop in.
Yeah.
She would love to see how you fix the picture. This is a problem for one of our guests. And I will say the picture space does tend to be challenging. And you do want to keep in mind the phone view. I might as well point that out right now too. You should have a phone toggle up on your site. So know that it is always going to crop to the middle section of your image. So you want to make sure that that image looks really good and works for the middle, which this mostly does. So, and it depends. That's like what the smallest phone would look like. So keep that in mind. Your best images are going to be images that don't have words on them, so don't graphically design something. They're going to be images that have a strong center, people, animals, location, pictures. If you're taking pictures at an event, turn your phone sideways and take 2 steps back. You want a lot of space to work with because it is
Exactly.
a hard area to work with. But yeah, go ahead and you can move her down a bit. I don't know why. I think that it's a her.
And I think the image, I got to get out of full screen so I can adjust this a little more. Let me. I believe this image may not be sized correctly either when I pulled it from my dashboard or my desktop. I think I had one that was a little bit smaller than this that I fixed with a different image. So to check that, I can always click on this image and save it to my desktop. Let's just save it here. We'll do some image editing. So here is that image. Something you can do as well is just look at the inspector and I can see the size. So this is a good image size. Every once in a while, we'll see an image that's a little bit smaller than this, like 800 by 400. And, when it stretches to that, it's very large. This does look like it is the right size. So let's
It
play
is.
around with it and see if we can get that to adjust better for us. Let's pull it up, maybe the focal point.
Pull it up just a little.
And save that page.
There you
We
go.
moved a little. This also may
I
be
think
a
that
case
looks good.
where, and maybe we don't want an overlay on the page either because it's cutting off the face here. So that's an option too. You don't have to have that overlay. We can save that as none.
And this is this particular theme that has that
Mm.
overlay. There's only some of our sites have the overlay. You might be not a site that has that. So, but a lot of our titles do come in white text on top of an image. So the image sometimes needs to be a little bit darker so you have contrast. If you have one of the sites that has the darkening tool, that's great. It will help darken the image so that the text pops. If you don't, you want to make sure you use something outside like Canva to darken your image so your text is readable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. I think the last thing I wanted to point out is once you have created this page, we've added it to our main menu, so we can always come back and edit it. I think that's sometimes the fastest way. If you need to come back to a page and edit it, how do you get back there to edit that page? When you log into the site, personally, if I know it's linked in my menu, I can navigate right to it and you'll see editing tabs up above. I can jump right back into that page and edit. But if it's not linked in the menu anywhere or in the footer menu, that's when we can always click on that content menu. And this is when we find it in your content management filter. So again, this will put, it sorts by the last time it was updated. So if you had just updated it or worked on it recently, it should be toward the top. But you can also then use those filters to find that page, jump into the editing view, get it added to the main menu, or maybe you need to unpublish it as well. All right. Any other questions? I think, Allison, unless I missed something, I wanted to cover kind of a start to finish. Oh, you know what? Let me show how to add a menu link the other way in case you need to link out to another website. Um, to do that, if you had maybe you're linking out to a partner agency website directly, maybe they have a resource page that you want to point people to within your main menu, or you have um an annual report that you want to post, but it's a PDF file and you just want to link directly to it. The way to do that would be to come to the structure menu in your admin bar, go down to menus, and then you'll see there's a couple menus on this site. We have anywhere between maybe 2 to 4 menus, depending on what theme you're in. But we'll find our main menu link here. You'll see your entire menu built out, and if you see it nested underneath, you'll know that that's a second tier menu link. You'll also see a checkbox on the side, meaning that they're all enabled. So if for any reason you need to disable a menu link for the time being, you can manually do that here. When you unpublish a page, it will also remove it from the menu link. But you can manually add a menu item as well when you hit add link. You can put in a title. Maybe this is a annual report. And then you can put the menu link in here. If this is maybe a link to a file, or maybe this is an external website, you can link out to it this way. Just a reminder here, when you manually add a new link, if it is to an existing page on your site, you didn't add the link when you were on the page. If you unpublish the page, the menu link will still remain in your main menu. You'll have to come in and unpublish or delete that menu link as well, because it's not connected to the page like it is when you create it through that page.
Yes. But one of the great things about this setup here is that this is how you can rearrange your menu. So a lot of times you're not necessarily creating menus from that main menu area, but you will go there to drag and move the order of things around. Very common. The very first menu item is about us. That's a really common first one in your row. And a lot of times the last one is like a contact us or a donate or something along those lines. And then a variety of things in between. But you can drag and move your menu around. She's just moving the crosshairs.
Mm-hmm. And you can see it kind of flipped around our about and our work, and it popped that annual report link in here as well.
Okay.
Okay, that covers the basics of
Hey,
creating the
Jordan,
basic pages. Yeah.
would you put a picture in that text box?
In which text box?
The one you did on your new page and float it to the right or something?
Oh, yes. Let's add a photo. That's a great point. So if I wanted to add an image into this body area here, to do that, we want to just click into the box. And then there is an insert image tool in the toolbar. And if you click on this, it will, oh, I'm missing my search bar.
There you
Hold
are.
on 1 second. Let me adjust.
Oh. Okay, she's going into territory you don't need to worry about.
Okay, I'm just jumping into just logging in with a different that permission we need to adjust. It is a demo site, so sometimes it's not all set up. So I come back to our body area here. I will click into the body area and then click that image button. You should see a little magnifying glass on the right-hand side of the search bar. And when you click on it, it will open your file browser. And your file browser stores all of the files on your site, images, PDF documents, Word documents, anything that you've uploaded to your site lives here. So if I wanted to add an image, let's see. Let's find a nice.
And you know what? Since we're in here, she has some of the big pictures that she's using for headers and stuff. But if you're like, I want to use it on a page, you can create a copy of the picture and resize it and have a different size of it if that's something. This is a great place to maybe make it a picture a little smaller sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we can do that with this one here. So this is this image right here. If you look on the right-hand side, you can see the width and the height. It's a very big image to go into a small content area. Um, when you are clicking through the images, it will also show you a little preview of what that image is. But if I want to make this smaller, I can select the image and click the resize button. And then I can put in a width and height that I would prefer. So maybe we can make this, um, let's go, what do you think? Like 8,
450.
what?
No, 450.
By 450? Or 450 by 451?
Whatever it comes out to. Yeah, that's fine. Resize. So the basic width on most pages is around 1,000, give or take. It depends on your design. So if you're trying to figure out this pixel size thing, right? Yeah, that's gonna take not quite half the page probably. So we're gonna create a copy so that the original's still there, and then she's gonna do resize. Now I know this one's a numbered picture. Usually we say, name them so you can easily find out what they are. And also a really good tip on anything you're uploading to your site, whether it be a picture or a file, is don't have spaces in the name and don't have the super long name. Like, especially I see these PDFs that are crazy because it becomes the URL of it. And if
Mhm.
there's a space, it'll turn into this %20. So what we want to do is have file names that maybe use an underline if you want to have multiple words and keep them short and name it something that makes sense so you can find it.
Yes. Yeah, great call out
Because
there.
they're also searchable. So when someone's Google searching that image, see that there's a URL to it, that can be found by a search. And
Mhm.
so if the name is in there, it might help pull that picture even and drive people to your site as well. So naming your image as well and your file as well is really important.
Yeah,
That's
good
my
call.
speech. Go ahead and put it in.
All right, I will just double click on the image title. That will pull it into the text box here. And then if I click on the image, I'll get some image options down below. And there is one that kind of looks like it's nested. It's an align right and wrap the text, or an align left and wrap the text. If I want to put it on the right-hand side, I simply click that button and it will pop that image over to be more in line with my text. There's a couple other options here too. If you need to link an image, you can link an image. There is a link button here that you can add a hyperlink behind it. And you can put some alternative text in here as well. This is always a good idea, especially for accessibility when it comes to your site, to put in some type of description of the image. So maybe this is a man and dog sitting on the floor. All right, and then let's save this page. And there's my image just in line.
Yep. And there are different ways to do this. We're keeping this at the basics, but if you use components, you could have equal columns and you could put a picture on one side and words on the other side. So it depends. And I know not every theme has those same exact settings in the image area, but it has something similar. We were asked about adding maybe a link button to a donate page. Do you want to just add a button on this one and show how you would do that at the bottom?
Yeah, so there are some buttons, and I see that question in there. This is where, personally, I think the page components can come in handy because there is a styled link button that you can add. So if we wanted to add a button underneath our text here, I can use the link button component. It will let me pick the color that I would like this button. Maybe I want it to be red. I can put in the URL. So maybe you're linking out to another donate page that's not on your website. If it is on your website and we just want to link it to that donate page, we can. All you need to put in is the page name. So instead of the full URL, if you just have the page name of that page, you can add that in. And then we can add our button text in there. So maybe it's donate today. And then you can always set the link target. We usually recommend setting it to new window if you are linking to anything that is not your website. If you are taking users away from your website, we recommend making the link target a new window so that users can easily get back to your website. They haven't kind of gone away and then don't know how to get back. I'll leave that as none. And then there's some button alignment options as well. If you want to set, as you get more into page components, maybe you need a centered or a left aligned button. Let's save our page. And now we see our donate button here.
I'm gonna keep going with some of these questions, but on that same question, there was a question about QR codes. I do want to point out to everyone, QR codes is just an image of a URL. So you don't put QR codes on your website. You make QR codes of a link to your website and you put it on flyers. Because if they're on your website, they just click the link to get to the place. Don't have them scan it with their phone. So if you need help with QR code, reach out to your account manager. We'll help you. There's a lot of free QR code generators out there. All you do is drop in the URL you need a QR code for, and you get that.
Yeah.
Another question is about adding the video. Should I do it the same way with the link button? You could. However, videos happen to be something that you can actually place right into a page as an embed code. Very specifically, if you use YouTube or Vimeo, I think that's
Yeah.
it. Then you can pull the code from it and you can embed a video. It's kind of neat. Oh, look, old trainings.
I know. I was like, I can pull one from our YouTube. Okay, these are long. I wouldn't recommend adding, an hour-long video to your page, but if you had one that you needed to add, if you find it on YouTube, there will be a share button on YouTube. And usually on Vimeo as well, there's kind of a share option that you can find, and it will give you embed option. It will give you all this code that you see here. You can copy it. And then when you navigate back to your website, we don't necessarily have a page component that's built for videos, but the body area, as well as the rich text component, that's the same thing as the body area. It just gives you some formatting options. You will see a source button here. So if you click the source button, paste your code in, and then click source again, you'll see that video show up. And then you can do things like we can center the video on the page still if we want to make it a little more styled. And then we'll save that page.
So sometimes you'll see embed code for things, and your site can take embed code, but code goes where code goes, which is on the source side of the page, not on the front. So you just have to flip to that source side and you can drop code and look at you're coding.
Yeah. And you can add it into, it doesn't have to be by itself either. I can click the source button where I already have content. It does look a little bit different, so you just have to make sure you jump to the right area where you want it. A little trick that I'll have done in the past, if I know where I want to insert a video, I've got lots of content on the page. Sometimes I'll put in like a word that I can find once I flip to the code. So I'll use banana. I can switch to the source code. I see banana stick out right away, and I know I can kind of delete this and then pop in that embed code. And I've got the video added right where I want to, just a little trick. And then again, if you're selected on the video, you can format it. Great questions that are coming in. If there's more, please pop them in the Q&A.
Would you go ahead and do just a regular hyperlink on the text area, just to something like just highlight and hyperlink as opposed to the button part?
Sure. So if I wanted to put, maybe I don't want to use a button, maybe I just want a hyperlink. This can be done anywhere, but you simply type out the text that you would like to make a hyperlink. You'll highlight it with your cursor, and then in your toolbar here, oops, Get out of there, Grammarly. In the toolbar, you do have a link button. When you click on that, it will then ask you for the URL. So if I'm linking this to the donate page or to an outside, another website, you can put that URL here. And then you can set it to open in a new window or not, and click the check mark, and that will make it a link. You can do this for existing content. I can link it right in the middle if I need to. Just link that to the home page. I can hit the checkbox here. The other option here is maybe you need to link to a document, and you want that link to be within your text. When you click that link button, you do have a magnifying glass here. If we click that, again, it's going to take you to that file browser. I could technically link it to an image if I wanted to, but if you had and I
Annual
don't think,
report. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we have any PDFs in here, but if you had a report or a PDF file, you could link that the same way. And then when you click back on the link, you'll always see the option to edit it. So if you need to update things, if you need to change it, you can. And when you save the page, we'll see those links stand out here.
All right.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
I don't see any. Very nice.
Okay, we'll jump back to our slide deck, but if you've got a question, if you're typing it, get it in, we can still jump to it. But we'll start to wrap up our closing slides here. Let me jump to, I guess I'll put this in back in slideshow. We do have some great resources available. We have a newsletter that goes out periodically. We also have a blog with lots of good content. We're constantly updating that. So great resources to check out. I don't think we have a wrap-up
No.
poll. We usually have one at the beginning and one at the end just to make sure you guys are paying attention throughout the webinar, but we did more of a Q&A this time.
The test. No. No. For the basics, we didn't do it.
Oh, yep.
No poll.
And then, John, I see your question. Maybe we'll jump to that one quickly, and then we'll wrap up. It's a good question that you popped in there.
Oh, that is a good question.
So John asked, I just added a new slide, rotor image to the home page. How can I edit the order in which it's displayed? So on your home page, you may have this rotating images up toward the top. These are called your front page rotor images. You can have multiple up here. They will kind of slide through automatically. But to choose the order that these slide through, you can do that. And to do that, we'll click on Content in our admin menu. And to make things a little bit easier for myself, I'm going to filter by the content type front page rotor image so that I'm only seeing the rotor images that I have published. I don't have to sort through a bunch of other content. When we click into each rotor image, there will be a field in here called weight. And the weight is how you order the rotor images. So we've got some negative numbers in here, but the Drupal site will take anything weighted as a 1 and put that first. So if you want to number your rotor images 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the weight, that's how they will be displayed. Sometimes if you're not sure which one was your weight number 1, we can throw a negative number in there just to force it to be that first image that shows up. So let's see. I don't think I remember which one was first. Campaign
That one is first.
is the first one. Let's say we want to make United for Education the first rotor image that pops up. I'll jump into the editing view, come down to the weight, and then since I know campaign kickoff was -2, I can put a -3 here and save. And when I look back at my home page now, this is the first image that pops up. So ideally, what I think is a little bit the easiest way to do this and kind of get them all in the right order is click on Content, jump down to front page rotor image, and I would open up these all in a separate window. So I've got them all open at the same time. I would number them exactly how I need and then save them all with the new number, and that way they're all set and numbered.
And if you don't number it, like if you just add it and you forget the weight field altogether, that automatically kicks it to the front.
Hmm.
So just so you know, yeah.
All
But
right.
and if the weight doesn't work, sometimes that becomes a support ticket. If it's not going in the order you want, put a support ticket in. We can adjust that.
Exactly. Okay, we will wrap up now. I know we are at time.
Wow.
We've got some closing details here. Just a reminder, all of our webinars, they are recorded. We post them to our webinars section in our support site. Give us about 24 hours. The recording will be there. You can always get a support ticket into our team at support.oneeach.com. You've got your great account managers. If you've got questions about creating pages and you want to spend more time with them, please book a meeting with them. They're happy to walk through some training with you. Looking ahead next month, we are doing a webinar workshop. We'll do some campaign prep, and we'll build out a simple workplace pledge form. In July, we have a special guest joining us, Abby James. She did a couple webinars with us last year. She's wonderful. She's going to walk through an SEO refresher with us. And then in August, we're going to talk about images and mobile optimization.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you
That's
guys
it.
so much for joining us this month, and we hope to see you next month.
Thank you.